Today we are here with Elliot Hill, the one and only CMO for the Veracity project. Elliot, welcome. Thanks that you made some time for us. Can you maybe do a quick introduction about yourself? Who are you and what is it that you do at Veracity?
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Axel, really great to meet you guys. Love to be here with Blocks. Obviously, we're super excited about the listing. So, my name's Elliot. I'm CMO at Veracity. I've been with Veracity now for 2 years, well, over 2 years. So, I joined at the start of 2022. And yeah, as I say, I'm CMO. I lead our marketing and also our communications, and that sometimes crosses over into sort of sales and helping out the commercial team as well with VRA, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. But I've been in crypto now since 2017 and sort of interested in the space since 2016. So I haven't been with Veracity for its whole life. Veracity launched in 2017, and I was still sort of working with other projects at that time. But being with Veracity for a long time, and also being with Veracity during its move into commercial expansion, which is a really exciting phase for us. So it's really great to be here today to talk about what we're doing and some of the real world impacts that we're making at Veracity.
Yeah, because I think the last thing that you just said, it's really important to talk about it later because I can imagine that that's maybe one of the things that drew you into Veracity since you were already into the crypto. Because, like you said, like the real world implementation of Veracity, what does it do? Can you put it like in a short way? What do you guys do? What do you make possible?
Yeah, sure. So, and it's interesting what you said there. So, when I joined crypto, one of the major sort of criticisms that was always leveled at the crypto space was it's a solution looking for a problem. So,
Yeah.
all, we had all these grand ideas about how crypto and blockchain could be used, but they weren't actually being implemented in the real world. And that is, you're right, what attracted me to Veracity, because there was a real world use case and a real world utility for that blockchain backend. So at Veracity, the premise of what we do is very simple. We exist in the advertising ecosystem. We exist in the advertising world. The advertising world, for those who aren't familiar with it, can be thought a little bit like, especially programmatic, where we exist, a little bit like the world of financial trading, in that much of it is automated. There are many transactions going on behind the scenes, and there are hundreds, if not thousands, of intermediaries in this process. So it's very complex. Whenever you're shown an ad, it's not just as simple as that ad being there on the site. It'll be many different brands and many different interested parties bidding for your attention to show you that ad. So it's a very non-transparent process, and it's very susceptible to fraud. So what Veracity does is that we provide the tools to make that transparent through distributed ledger technology, through blockchain technology, and prevent fraud, as we call it, invalid traffic, so bots and click fraud in advertisers' campaigns, and that helps empower publishers who are looking to monetize and make revenue from the content that they publish. So that's what we do in a nutshell. We keep the internet and the advertising on the internet safer through blockchain technology.
Yeah, so that's like really important for the publisher itself and the party that's paying maybe for the advertisement, but also I can imagine for the people like you and me that are looking at it like as a customer, because then you know you're actually dealing with the real deal.
Yeah, so for the customer, actually, it's interesting. The actual us as a viewer and as a user of the web, we probably get annoyed by ads. We're not in any yeah, we're not in any denial that people can get annoyed by ads, but ads keep the internet free. So I'm sure we've all been to a site on the internet, usually like a news website or something, and we've been hit with a paywall and they ask us to subscribe for access to that site. If every site on the web had a subscription model, no one would be able to afford to use it. So ads keep the web free. However, what publishers would have to do if they were losing too much, and brands, if they were losing too much to ad fraud, is simply stuff that page with as many ads as possible, so that they were making at least some revenue from those ads. So I'm sure we've all been to websites where you're just bombarded with ads. There's ads in every bit of space available on the screen. If we solve the ad fraud issue, and the ad fraud issue is huge, it costs the industry $80 billion a year is lost to fraud.
That's the
So
fraud
around,
part.
yeah, that's
Wow.
that's just fraud. And
Amazing.
around 1 in 3 ads online are seen by a bot, not a real user. So if we can reduce that, the number of adverts and the number of ad placements that publishers have to put in to make the same revenue would be much lower. So the internet would be a nicer place to be. There would be less ads. You would have just maybe one ad in a page, and if there was no fraud on it, they could meet their revenue targets. So it makes it a better place to be for the user, even if the user isn't saving money, and even if they're not directly impacted by the fraud, the knock-on effects are beneficial to everyone who is browsing the internet.
Yeah, so it's kind of a guarantee that the internet stays accessible for everybody, it stays affordable for everybody, and maybe even it stays neutral for everybody in this way.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, and so this is the problem that Veracity, I think it saw the problem in 2017, because that's when you guys started. And since then, what happened within the advertisement fraud online? Do you see something change? Like, can you actually push it into the right direction, maybe?
Yeah, so this is a really good question. Obviously, 2017 in the sort of crypto ecosystem, that may as well be, when dinosaurs were roaming the earth. Crypto
Yeah.
moves very fast. So 2017 seems like a long time ago, and we're proud of the fact that we've been going now for 7 years. But in advertising and in the world of ad tech, things have obviously moved on. It's still, a tech frontier. But the actual problem of ad fraud and the actual methods that fraudsters use to defraud this ecosystem have remained pretty much the same, and they've remained kind of constant. There are, of course, other invalid traffic sort of solutions,
Yeah.
but many of these solutions rely on trust. So when you have like a report of a campaign, and a provider says, well, we've blocked 90% of fraud in that campaign, you have to take that at face value. Whereas what we do with blockchain is that we store immutably a record of that campaign data on the blockchain. So you no longer have to trust, you can verify. That again is something that's always said in blockchain. You can verify the campaign statistics on the blockchain without having to take our word for it or another intermediary's word for it, that portion of fraud is or fraud prevention is real. So that's why that's something that we've been pushing forward for the last few years since we were incorporated.
Yeah, and I can imagine that you're doing this in various solutions, various products. What is your product line right now that you can bring to like a publisher to solve this problem?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we've had a few iterations of what our technology looks like. But in the last couple of years, as I said at the start, we've really moved into this commercial phase and really narrowed down what we're taking to market. So our key product vertical is called VeraViews. VeraViews is a software as a service. It's an advertising stack, and it features a few core elements which make it into a single product. So we have a fully featured video player, which offers like in-stream, out-stream, and live video capabilities. We have a purpose-built video ad server, so that's basically built to optimize the programmatic video advertising ecosystem. What we mean by that is how ads are shown. So like I said before, ads are bidded on, and they're shown in basically like a number of different ways. So
Yeah.
using information that is I guess collected about an individual user on the web through cookies. Obviously we're moving into a post-cookie environment, so it's going to be interesting what happens
Maybe the
around
new
that.
world on the internet advertising.
Well, yeah, and we're already looking into ways that we could get ready for that, and maybe we can chat about that a bit later. But basically, these profiles are built, and as you navigate the web, some information, not usually personally identifiable information, but information about things that you may have been looking for. So, are you searching for a new car? Okay, well, you're a good person to show a car advert to, things like that. And so we can help like with the clean delivery of these direct campaigns. And our purpose-built video ad server is already connected to some of the world's largest advertising networks, so Google, Amazon, and Pubmatic, and we are an Amazon Ads partner as well, so we're in their partner network. And then we have the IVT detection. So as I mentioned before, IVT stands for invalid traffic, and this is essentially bots, fraud, people doing pixel stuffing, people doing click fraud, anything, any I guess bad actor is
creative ways to
steal ad views, and that is made available through a patented piece of technology called proof of view, and that basically identifies fraudulent traffic and then stores it on stores that data on our open ledger called the VRA chain. So that's VeraViews in a nutshell.
And it's like you said, it was your own technology. You patented it. It's yours. You developed it like completely from scratch, and implemented it into VeraViews.
Yeah. So our developer team, we have like quite a large developer team. And they've basically built out proof of view from scratch and a number of other elements, and that is now patented technology in quite a lot of countries now. It's hard to remember them all. So we've got patents for that in the USA, China, so they're the two biggest advertising markets, Europe, and also other jurisdictions like Hong Kong and South Korea, and a number of others. So that's patented basically worldwide, to detect invalid traffic, detect fraud, and store a record of it in that manner. We have the patent for that.
Can you tell us a little bit about how it works? I can imagine not everything because, well, why not? It's patented, so. But can you tell us a little bit about the technical aspect, maybe? How does it work? How do you filter that?
Yeah, sure. So on the front end, I guess, the user wouldn't notice that anything was different. So they'd just go to a website, they'd see a video player, which would be our video player, and they would be served an ad somewhere in that video. So that usually would be what we call midstream. So midstream is when you've already watched a little bit of the video. It's quite annoying to have a video served to you straight away before you get to the content. So we non-intrusive videos that are served midstream or wherever the publisher wants, and the user experience is a totally normal video player. What's going on in the back end is that we have basically a proprietary ad stack, a proprietary tech stack of 13 different modules. Some of these are to serve the ads, but we also have invalid traffic and fraud filtering modules. So we use a combination of blockchain, AI through machine learning, and also sort of legacy tech as well, that we use to score traffic for the chances that it's fraud. So is it coming from an IP where we know a lot of fraud comes from or is already associated with click fraud? Is it coming from a machine that doesn't look sort of legitimate, for instance,
not human or something? It's like
so is it sending too many requests? Does it have like a weird screen size, because that can indicate that they're trying to stuff loads of different frames into view, and loads of these other scoring techniques that give it a fraud score. So if it meets a certain threshold, we say, well, that's fraudulent, that's not a real view, that's not a real person. We can either not serve them an ad if we detect that it's fraud quick enough, either not serve them an ad, or if it's after the ad's been served, we discount that from the final campaign statistics, so the advertiser doesn't have to pay for that fake view. Now, all of this information is packaged basically and sent to our backend sent to our blockchain through proof of view, and that's where it's stored immutably. So then the publisher, when they come to an end of a campaign, or they come to an end of a billing cycle, for instance, right now the publishers have to say to advertisers, this is how many views we got on your ads, this is how much the ads is worth, and then the brand comes back to them and says, well, we don't think that you got that many real views, we don't want to pay you that much money because we think you had this much fraud. With VeraViews, all of that data is on chain, so the publisher can get paid exactly what, exactly for how much, for how many viewers saw their ads. So it also benefits the publisher as well as the advertiser, the brand.
So it's bad news for the really creative salespersons that are trying to push up the numbers a little bit and grab some more money from it. But I think it's really good news for the internet and for all the companies that are dealing with it. So, okay, so that's what you're actually doing right now. It's a viable product. You can use it as a company. And what are your next steps? Do you already have a vision for within this kind of period of time we want to serve this new service maybe?
Yeah, so our next steps for 2024. So I think it was either the end of 2022 or the start of 2023, we announced that we were sort of live with the first publishers who were using our ad stack in a live environment for live video advertising campaigns. Now in 2024, a lot of our roadmap, and if you're new to the project, you can see our roadmap on verasity.io, and we've got a roadmap tab, and we have quite a detailed roadmap of what we're doing this year. A lot of it are development milestones, so development milestones for VeraViews, and this is because the first users of VeraViews gave us a lot of feedback on what they would like to see in our ad stack, features that perhaps other established ad stacks have, and other established sort of IVT prevention technologies have. So we're integrating a lot of those new features during 2024. We're going to make it a better piece of technology for publishers to use, make it easier to deploy, and also make it so that we can work with a much bigger range of publishers. So we recently upgraded our video capabilities. The next step is to roll out a video player that can basically be used by any publisher on earth. It'll be like a tailor-made video player, and move from there really. So it's continuous improvement and continuous commercial rollout. So we are at a stage now where we're very much ready to take on new publishers, and our commercial team is always looking for those new opportunities to bring in those publishers.
Yeah, so and that's all in the roadmap that everybody can check out, verasity.io.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so you're not sitting still. You're constantly developing and creating new things, and I think at this very moment you can see that very good at the price of your token.
Yeah, so this is always one that we don't talk directly about price.
No.
Obviously, I know that all of our community and all of our crypto followers want to talk about price. And we are always looking for new ways to bring utility into our ecosystem. And I would say that's one of the most important things for us, is keeping that utility for the token, keeping the development going. So, we've had, it does look like the market's finally changing. It finally, we're going into a new cycle, but we've had 2 years or more of an extended bear market, and all we've done throughout that period is build. So we've been building that whole time. We've grown the team during that period. We've rolled out new products during that period. And that's what we're going to continue to do, whether it's a bull or a bear or what I like to call a crab market, where it's just moving sideways
Yeah.
relentlessly.
Just
We're
endlessly
still,
walking and nothing,
yeah,
doing nothing.
yeah. I mean, it has been right for the
Yeah.
last sort of year. It's just been moving sideways and not really going down and not really going up. But we are, we're still going to be building and shipping our products. That's our mandate. In terms of the actual token and the utility for the token, so VRA is used to fund escrow pools in VeraViews. So when a brand wants to pay for an advertising campaign, they would have to pay for that advertising campaign by depositing funds essentially into an escrow contract to pay for the duration of the campaign. A little bit like you would on Facebook or Google Ads. You would have to make a payment option available, or you would have to put some money up for that campaign.
Yeah.
So users of the VeraViews ad stack would do that through VRA, so they can buy VRA from the open market and deposit it into an escrow contract to pay for that campaign. Obviously, if they want to pay in fiat, what we could do is use the fiat, buy the VRA for them, and deposit that in the escrow pool.
Yeah.
We also have proof of view marker tokens, which are on the same contract as circulating VRA. However, they're used for data circulation purposes. So they're used for sending data to and from basically from Vera chain to the Ethereum main chain, where we basically store, send blocks to be incorporated into the blockchain and circulate this data through our ecosystem. And these are minted and burned as they're used. But we currently have a proposal, and we currently are in the process of migrating these tokens, these 90 billion proof of view tokens, to a new contract and to a separate contract. So they'll be separate from circulating VRA, and that's going to have its own sort of utility as well. So we're looking at building out utility for that too. This could be like sharing computing power, so that our network becomes more powerful and better at detecting fraud, and a whole host of other things that we're currently exploring.
So that would maybe be to share the computer power for your AI to interpret the data that you are generating.
Exactly. Yeah. So we're looking for ways that we can give back to our token holders and to the community, and provide more utility within our ecosystem. And we did have a concept a few years ago now of allowing users to host nodes. Ultimately, with the sort of architecture of our ecosystem, that wasn't something that we felt was possible, because obviously there is data circulating through the ecosystem that is proprietary to publisher and brands' advertising campaigns. So instead, we think a better solution would be to enable people to provide computing power in a decentralized manner. That would make our ecosystem stronger, because we would have more resources to draw on to detect fraud, and also respond to new threats as well. So there are, just like in any cybersecurity, which it sort of is, cybersecurity, like in any cybersecurity ecosystem, there are 0-day threats, so there's new attack vectors. We need adequate computing power to detect these and any anomalies that are happening. So a decentralized computing model would really help us facilitate that, whilst also generating rewards to give back to users. So this is something we're currently exploring. This is why the proof of view consultation and the proof of view sort of migration phase that we're currently in is one that we're doing methodically, and looking to finish this year.
Okay, so there's a lot of use cases, and maybe coming up new use cases for the coin types that you're offering. Talking about that, the token from now on, it's of course available inside the BLOX app. That's not everything, because this very week, Verasity is the coin of the week within the BLOX app, and it also means that we have like a really cool deal for our users, because we have like a buy and hold action at this very moment. Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, so obviously we're the coin of the week, and we listed on blocks. I think was it the start of the week, yeah, or the end of last week maybe. So users can buy and hold. So if you buy and hold VRA through the blocks app, there are rewards to be won. This is something that we're really keen for our users to take part in, because we know we've got a lot of users in the Netherlands, and we know obviously blocks is one of the most important exchanges in the Netherlands. So if you are like a Dutch user, do go ahead and check out the buy and hold competition on blocks. As I've had a look at the app, obviously it's only available to, I think, our Dutch users at the moment, but I had a look and a play with the app. I really like the interfaces on blocks. I think it's a super simple exchange to get started with. So if you're in the Netherlands and you are a VRA holder, or maybe you want to get involved, the buy and hold competition is a great way to do that.
Oh, thank you very much. Because it's for a lot of people now, they know what it is you guys do. They have a face behind it. That's also always really nice, I think. And you have like a really nice deal right now with the buy and hold action within the Blocks app. Elliot, thank you very much for your time and for all the detailed information about what it is that you're doing. I wish you all the best for this year and the upcoming years, and I hope we can keep in touch sometimes about an update within Veracity.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Axel. It's really great to talk about what we're doing. If anyone's interested to learn more, do go and follow us on X, which is where we share all of our info. Still feels a bit weird calling it X,
Yeah.
but we're at Veracity Tech. So do go ahead and check that out, and check our website as well, which is veracity.io.
Okay, thanks.